السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. ما بعد، أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. رب زدني علما. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم. I welcome you all to the class of دروس اللغة العربية لغير الناطقين بها. إن شاء الله تعالى. Today we are still in the key, and last time we did two lessons, lesson 19 and 20. Today, inshallah ta'ala, for the last time we will see lesson 21 and 22, right? Obviously we won't come back to these lessons, so this is the last time we look at form 6 and form 7, right? Form 6 and form 7. So what is form 6? So we've done form 2. So what is form 1, by the way? Form 1 is just a simple fa'ala, right? Fa'ala. And then form 2, you double the ain kalima. You give two ains is form 2. Fa'ala, like allama, darrasa, like that. And then we learn form 3. Form 3 is what? Adding an alif. Fa'ala. This is form 3. Correct? And then we learn form 4. Af'ala. Form 4. Af'ala ifilu. If'al. This is called bab if'al. This is called bab taf'il also, huh? By the way. Bab taf'il, bab mufa'ala, or fi'al. It has two names. Form 3 is the only one which has two masdars, by the way. Right? Fa'ala has two masdars, mufa'ala as well as fi'al. You can remember the example of jahada, is to strive. So it has two masdars, mujahada, mujahadatun, that is striving, as well as jihad. Jihad is also masdar. So you can remember mujahada and jihad. And for fa'ala, you can remember darrasa, yudarrishu, tadris. Right? Aslama, form 4, you can remember aslama. And then form 5 is form 2 plus ta. Right? These are 4-letter ones. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have 5 and 6 letters. So 5 letters is what? Tafa'ala. See, ta, fa, 1, 2. Ain is double, so you'll count them as 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Tafa'ala. And now form 3 plus ta is form 6. So tafa'ala is like ta'allama. Ta'allama, to learn anyways. Ta'allama is also to learn. And this is tafa'ala with an alif. Form 3 plus ta in the beginning. Form 3 plus ta in the beginning. This is form 2 plus ta, and this is form 3, form 6. Right? We'll learn this lesson, form 6. And the next lesson is form 7 is one of the easiest one. The easiest way to identify is you'll find in. Right? You'll find in. That is form 7, last which we done. One fa'ala. This is also how many letters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters, right? 5 letters. This is form 7. 7 in, right? I remember like that, 7 in. Because this is the easiest to identify, unless and until we learn, inshallah, later on. Unless this is a ta, then it's form 8, 90% of the time. Like, for example, it'll come in the next lesson, inshallah. In taqala. Oh, you might think, oh, this is in, right? In, and this is form 7, you might think. No. Because if you see a ta, 90% of the time it is form 8. So it was form 8 is what? You add a hamza and a ta. Right? You add a hamza and a ta. Okay. Hamza and a ta. Ta. So this is actually naqala. Noon, qaf, lam. Naqala is to transfer something. In taqala is also to transfer. Okay. Naqala. So this is form 8, because you might get confused. We have an exercise for this. Inshallah, it'll come in the next lesson. This is not form 7, because you might think, oh, in came, it's form 7. No, the star is the extra one. Inshallah. And form 8 is I believe, the toughest from all the forms to identify, because there's 3 changes which will happen. Inshallah, we'll learn them. 3 changes which will happen in form 8. So I'll just give a short ifta'ala, short introduction for that. Ifta'ala. Now, for heaviness, for heavy letters like ta, va, sad, and dad. Like, for example, istafa. It has a istafa. So the 3 letters, right? Root letters are what? Sa, sad, fa, and ya. Correct? I want to make form 8 from this. So how do I make form 8? Bring a hamza first. Then the fa kalima, that is the first root letter, and then I'll bring ta, and then fa, And then istafa, I'll change the ya to a alif maksura. Istafa is to choose someone. Now this is so difficult to say for Arabs, because is this is tafkhim, yeah, this is heavy letter, and then you have to say istafa. You have to say light letter again. So what they did was, for all these heavy letters, yeah, sa, da, ta, wa, they changed this ta into a ta. This is called ibdal. Ibdal is to change the letters. So this became istafa. Istafa. And the conjugation is the same. Istafa, yastafi. This is, now you might be confused, like, where's the form 8? That time you should know the root letter. This ta is a tha. Okay, inshallah it will come all this. I'm just giving you a brief overview. Istafa, this hamza alif, this hamza and this ta is extra. So why is it ta extra? It was actually a tha. Correct? This ta changed into a ta. This is the first rule. Number 1 rule. And the second rule is for dal, zal, and then za, 3 letters. These are, if you notice, they have similar makhraj, yeah? Dal, dal, za. So when these come, you can do anyhow, like zakara, these root letters are za, dal, kaf, ra. So you want to make it form 8. So how do? You add a hamza, is takara. Now this is takara. See, it's so difficult to pronounce. So what they did was, you can change the ta to a dal. You can, I'm writing it above. You can make it is zakara, or you can change all of them to a dal, is dakara. Right? They did it like that, is dakara, or you can change both of them to a dal, iddakara. Right? Iddakara. You can do 3 options for this. And just the way the people spoke, right? Iddakara, they didn't like iddakara, so they changed it to iddakara or iddakara or iddakara. Right? So anytime you see iddakara, this is also form 8. You might be like, where's the ta? You don't see the ta, because this is a 3 letters, dal, zal, roza. Where's the iddakara? You might think this is something else. No, everything means to remember. Iddakara. Iddakara is also used in the Quran. Iddakara. So you might think, oh, where's the ta? It was actually, so here there's a major change, because actually it was a dal, and then a dal came after that. Then both of them changed into a dal. You see, a dal was there, then the dal changed to a dal again. So you might think the root letter is dal, kaf, ra. No, the root letter is dal, kaf, ra. So this is the second rule, inshallah. Right? We'll learn about this also. Right? Because they have same makhraj. Yeah? One is the heavy rule, and the second is the same makhraj rule. Dal, dal, za, similar. And the last is weak letter. If it is a wow, like for example, what, waqa, wa, qaf, and ya, to save someone, yeah, to save someone. Now I want to make it form 8. Iftaqa, correct? Iftaqa. But this wow will change into a ta. Now instead of changing a ta, notice here we change the ta to a ta, the third letter, right? Ta, extra letter ta. Change ta to a ta. Here we change the ta to a dal or dal, whatever. And here we'll change the weak letter, obviously. So this wow will change into ittaqa. Ittaqa. Now, when you look at this, you might be like, what's the root letter? Ta, qaf, ya. Correct? You might think this is ta, qaf, ya. No. This was actually ibtaqa, and this is a weak letter. It's waw, qaf, and ya. Ittaqa, yattaqi. All this, that's why form 8 is the most difficult, because you won't be able to identify, oh, where is form 8? Because if dhakara, you might think, if you don't remember this rule, you'll be like, which form is this? Because form 9 is also if Allah, but the tajdeed is on the last letter, if Allah, but you might be like confused with if dhakara and if Allah. So you might be like form 9. Anyways, form 9 is very rare. Form 9 is only used mostly in colors and defects. Inshallah, we'll learn form 9. But form 8 is like that. Form 9 is like this. If Allah, like colors, like ihmarra, something became red. Ihmarra wajhuhu, his face became red. This is form 9. Because the shadda will come at the last letter. So how many letters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters. This is also 5 letters. Form 10 is the easiest one, inshallah, will come. Istaghfara, right? Istafala, like that, inshallah. Okay. I just wanted to give you the 3 changes rules. One is change into a ta, one is change into a dal, dal, or whatever. Dal, dal, or leave it like that. Change it. The ta will change into a dal, or the dal, or both dals. And then the last one is change the wow to a ta. Right? Those are called ibdal rules. You're changing the letters because it's easier to pronounce. Inshallah. But now we are not concerned about that. That'll come in lesson number 23. Now we are only concerned about, form 6, right? Inshallah. Form 6 is very easy to identify. How do you know it's form 6? You see a ta in the starting and then an alif after that. Alternate letters. Ta and alif. Ta and alif. Okay, let's read this. This bab is formed by prefixing the ta to a bab fa'ala. Example, takasala. Takasala. So form 3, you take form 3 and add ta. He was lazy. Tatha'aba, he yawned. Tafa'ala, he was optimistic. Tafa'ala. Tashajadu, they quarreled with one another. Tabaka, he pretended to cry. Pretended to cry. The mudari, as the verb is made up of 5 letters. It's not 4, right? It's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the harful mudari will take a fatha, because if it's form 2, 3, or 4, we'll give it a dhamma, right? Darrasa, you darrisu. Then jahada, you jahidu. Qatala, you qatilu. And aslama, yuslimu. Like that. But here it's 5 letters, so we'll give it a fatha. So takasala, yatakasalu, and yatata'abu, yatabaka. Yatabaka, to pretend to cry. Yatata'abu, to yawn. To yawn. And yatakasal, to become lazy. As in Bab Tafa'ala, the harf mudari ta may be omitted in literary writings. So we learned in form 5 also that the ta will be deleted just for easier purpose, takhfif. To hear some examples from the Quran, like we learned tanazzalul malaikatu war ruh. It was actually tatanazzalu. The 2 ta should come. One ta is form 5 ta, and the other ta is the feminine ta. Correct? Similarly, here we can delete it just for easier reading. If the meaning is understood and there's no confusion, correct, we can delete it. Like Allah says in the Quran, وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا. And we have made you into nations and tribes. Nations, shu'ub, peoples, nations, and qabaila, tribes. Why? لِتَعَارَفُوا, so that you may get to know one another. Not to fight each other, but to get to know one another of different types and people. So this ta'arafu was tata'arafu. Why? Anta. Anta will be anta taf'alu, right? So anta tata'arafu. So 2 tas should come. One is the anta ta, and the other is this form ta, form 6 ta. Wala tanabazu bil alqab. Wala tanabazu, and do not tanabazu yatanabazu, insult each other or put names, give nicknames. Bil alqab, by nicknames. Do not insult one another by nicknames. So this was wala tatanabazu, because la nahiya, if you remember, la tadhhab will have a ta, right? La taf'al, la tal'ab. Yatanabazu is actually tatanabazu. And Allah says wala ta'awanu 'ala al-ithmi wal 'udwan. And do not help one another in sin and transgression. Ta'awanu was actually tata'awanu. Ta'awanu is to cooperate with each other. And the amr is also formed by halful mudara. You delete the ta or whatever, and the case ending, like tanavalu. Oh, sorry, tatanavalu. You'll chop the ta and the dhamma. Tanaval. There's no need for hamza. Tanaval, take or eat. Tanavalu ta'am. Like that. And naqis, you drop the ya also, right? Tabaka or tatabaka, you are pretending to cry. You say tabaka, pretend to cry. Tabaka, pretend to cry. Tabaka, pretend to cry. Okay, pretend to cry. Okay, the masdar of this bab is on the pattern of tafa'ul. Masdar is obviously tafa'ul, because form 2 is tafa'ul. This is tafa'ul. Like tanavala, masdar is tanawul, taking. Tashama is tasha'um. Tashama. Tafa'ala is to, with a hamza, is to be optimistic. Pessimistic is tashama. Tasha'um, pessimism. And in the naqis, the dhamma is second radical is changed to a kasra, like tabaka. The masdar will be should be actually tabakuyun, but it's a ya, right? It's a ya, tabakuyun. So what you'll do is you'll you'll make it manqus, so it'll become tabakin, madin, and if you bring alif lam, ya comes back. All the rules for manqus. Lesson number 1. Ismul fa'il maf'ul also same thing. Change the ya to a mu. Yatanavalu mutanavil, one who's taking something. Mutanaval, that which is taken. File maful, same thing. Once you get a hang of one thing, you'll get everything else. Ismul maful is also ismu zaman and makan. So mutanaval is the place of taking, reaching. Now, for example, yajibu an alla tutrakal adwiyatu. Fi mutanawali aidil atfal. It is mandatory that medicine should not be left. This is passive. Taraka yatruku yutraku tutraku. Feminine because adviya is feminine. Mutanawal here means place. Place. Because same as ismul maful, right? Fi mutanawali aidil atfal. In the hands of place of hands of reach of children's hands. The reach of children's hands. Now, what does it mean? This bab. Because remember, some babs signify something, yeah? Like form 2 signifies intensive action or extensive. Correct? Form 4 signifies changing into transitive verb. You can use, even form 2 is used for that anyways. Same. Now form 6, form 5 is also, we learned form 5 is mutawa. Last class we read about that. What is mutawa? That means we ascribe the action to the object, to the maf'ulun bihi, like the glass broke, like that. That's called mutawa. The door opened, right? Form 7 is also used for that. Form 7 is also used from. Form 5 is used for mutawa. Now, what is form 6 used for? Form 6, not all the time. This is just one of the uses. Form 6 is used for pretending and cooperation or reciprocal action, he says. Not cooperation literally, but two people doing that action. Like yatasa'aluna, amma yatasa'aluna. Then what are they asking each other? Reciprocal action. Correct? These are the two. One is musharaka. So what are the meanings? Like when will you use this form? Not all the time, but what are the meanings of it? Among the meanings, al-musharaka. Like sa'ala, he asked. Right? Just one person asking will be he asked. But many people asking will be tasa'ala. Tasa'ala nasu. The people asked one another. Because Arabic is so vast, they created a verb for it. Right? Form 6 is used for that. Tasa'ala. Khalas. We don't want to say sa'alan nasu bainahum. Right? Something like that. Ask one another. Or sa'alan nasu ba'duhum ba'da. Same meaning, right? Some of the people asked each other. So instead of using sa'ala, we can use tasa'alan nas. Khalas, the meaning is clear. Ta'awanan nasu, the people cooperated or helped each other. Another word, pretending. They thought, let's create for pretending also. Like baka is to cry, right? Let's use form 6 for tabaka, is to pretend to cry. Idharu ma laysa fil batin, right? Showing apparent what is not inside, batin inside, your emotions and all that. Like tamarada. Marida is to fall sick, but he is pretending to fall sick. So they created a verb for it, tamarada. That's the benefit of having root letter languages, right? Because you can create thousands of words more, right? So that's why Arabic is not dependent on any language, generally speaking. Although they use computer and all that English words, but you can create a new word. I mean, if scientists create new words, we can use it. Like for computers, there are so many words. Hasub al-Ali, some people call higher calculator, like they called it hasub. Or computers, muhasib, not muhasib is accountant. So you can create words like that, similar. Tamarada, like scientific terminologies and all. Tamarada, he pretended to be sick. Tanavama, he pretended to sleep. Nama yanamu is to sleep. Tanavama, the wow comes back. Notice here. Because nama yanamu, that is with a wow. No. Tama is to pretend to be blind. Tama. Okay, that was all about form 6. Next, we have later. Laita is the sister of inna. We learned a lot, very common in the Quran, because the person who goes to Jahannam and all that, or in the Akhirah, he'll keep saying, I wish, I wish, I wish. So which kind of wish? Any kind of wish? No, which is either impossible, right? It will not happen, or remotely possible, right? Very difficult for it to happen, right? Like, how I wish I can become a billionaire. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Is it? I mean, is it difficult? Of course, yeah. It's next to impossible. Like, for example, laytan nujuma qaribatun. Would that the stars were near, right? How I wish the stars were uh, near. Or laytani ghaniyun. Would that I were rich. Remotely possible if it is said by a very poor man. Correct? If a poor man, he says, oh, how I wish laytani ghaniyun. Would that I were rich. In the first example, nujum is the ism of layta. That's why it's mansub. Why is it mansub? Like inna, layta is also sister of inna. And qaribatun is its khabar. So we'll say layta min akhawati inna. And then nujuma is ismu layta. And qaribatun is khabar layta. Ismu layta is mansub and khabar layta is marfu. And laytani, the ya is the ismu layta and ghaniyun. Here are some more examples. Layta shababa ya'udu. Would that youth return? Youth return. Shabab. Young age will return. Obviously, no, it's impossible, right? Here the shabab also means, by the way, young men, huh? Young men. But shabab also is used, also context will describe. Like, ya ma'ashara shabab. The Prophet said, ya ma'ashara shabab. Man istata'a minkum al-ba'ata falyatazawwaj. Whoever can marry should marry. Whoever has the ability to marry. Or else he should fast. Fa'alayhi sawm. He should fast. Here the verbal sentence ya'udu is the khabar. So this is the ismu layta and this is the khabar of layta. Correct? Like layta ummi lam thalidni. How I wish my mother did not bear me. Walada yalidu is to give birth. So talidu because feminine, right? Mother. Layta li malan kathiran fatasaddaqa. How I wish I had money. Money. And Lord, so that I can give tasaddaqa, ya tasaddaqu is to give sadaqa. Tasadduq. Sadaqa. Here malan is the ism and li is the khabar. Malan is the ism. Yeah. Layta li. Because jar majrur cannot be ism anyways, right? Like it cannot be the mubtada anyways. So similarly, it cannot be khabar. It cannot be ismu layta. So where is the ismu layta here? Malan. Why did it come later on? Because it is nakira. Nakira. So layta, ismu layta is here, malan, and this is the khabar. And sometimes ya is also used with layta to show, something like a lot far away, right? Ya laytani, right? To show that it's impossible, like kind of more emotional. Like Allah said in the Quran, the person will say, Ya laytani kuntu turaba. How I wish would that I were dust. Kuntu turaba. Like he'll see some animals, they'll become dust. Some mufassir say, because animals will also be resurrected, right? And the sheep and all that. So the horned sheep, if he had attacked to the unhorned sheep, so they'll resurrect and this will take revenge. And then all the animals will be killed and they'll become dust. Because they don't have Jannah, Jahannam for animals. But there'll be recompense. There'll be revenge on that day. So he'll say, oh, how I wish I would also become dust. Some of the Mufassir says. Okay, third point. That was all about layta. Third point, la kitaba indi. I don't have a book. This la is called la nafiyatul lil jins. La of class negation. Like la ilaha illallah. And this la, you make the following word mabni. It's not mansub, by the way. You'll make it mabni bil fath. You'll make it mabni. Like for example, la da'iya lil khawfi. There is no need to fear. Da'iya. Da'iya means something which calls. So there's no color to fear. I mean, there's no need. There's no cause to worry. La ikraha fid din. So you might think like, why is this like this? Why is this with a fatha? Because it's mabni. You make the following word mabni with a fatha. La raiba fihi. There's no doubt in it. La ilaha illallah. There's no God but Allah. And لا صلاة بعد الغداة حتى تطلع الشمس ولا صلاة بعد العصر حتى تغرب الشمس. The hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. لا صلاة, there is no salah. بعد الغداة, غدا is fajr salah. حتى تطلع الشمس, until طلع يطلع, until the sun rises. Hatta, it makes the following verb mansub because there's an unhidden, right? Hatta an tatlu'a, but we don't say that an. Hatta tatlu'a shamsu, mansub because of hatta, or an, which is mudmara, is called an mudmara, hidden an. Wala salata ba'd al-asri, and there's no salah after asr, hatta taghruba shamsu. So after Fajr, don't pray anything. After Asr, don't pray anything until sun rises or sun sets. Next point, in the previous lesson, we learned tahdhir. Right? We learned to warn someone. Like, iyaka. Iyaka. Beware of this man. Iyaka wa so-and-so. Wa hadha rajula. In the previous lesson, iyaka. You want to warn someone. Why Shamsu with Dhamma? Oh, this is file, no? Talayat Lut, file of Shams. Who is going to rise? The sun. Correct? Yeah, Talayat Lut is a verb, huh? Mafulun, fa'il mudari. Okay. Yes. Okay, correct. Next is, anytime we see a file, we should always search for file. Even if you're trying to translate, always search for file. Because sometimes the file will come very late. So it becomes very difficult to translate. If you don't know which the file is. I mean, who's doing the action of rising? And it is feminine. Shams is feminine. That's why yatlu'u is not used. Yatlu'a, tatlu'a, because Shams is feminine. Muannath. Yes. Okay. So tahdhir is to warn someone. And there are various ways to warn someone. You can repeat the word like Allah, Allah, fear Allah. Allah, Allah. Correct? Fear Allah. You can repeat it, or you can just say one word also sometimes. But to show clarity, we use iyaka, not the iyaka na'budu one. That is separate. That is na'budu ka. It was actually iyaka na'budu. We worship only you. We worship. This is iyaka wa so and so. There a verb is coming directly. Iyaka na'budu. This iyaka means protect yourself from what? Wahada rajula. From this man. It will be mansub, because there's a verb hidden here. Protect yourself and protect this man. That means protect both of them. Iyaka hadha rajula. So you can say Allah, Allah, or iyaka hadha rajula. In English we use, or maybe in Urdu we use just one word also. Like I was just walking by the door and I didn't close the door. So my sister shouted, the door, right? I mean, I understood just by saying door, correct? So that is also a way of warning someone. Door, like close the door. That's understood. Similarly, warning, because there's no time. I was just going out. And how can you differentiate between both the iyaka? One iyaka will be with a verb or something. We have a lesson for this, inshallah. Almost 29:30 somewhere. Of all the pronouns, he'll summarize this, inshallah. And this iyaka will be iyaka wa something. Always. Like iyaka wa wal kalba. Beware of the dog. Right? If you want to warn someone, this is how. That will be iyaka with a verb. There'll be no wow. Okay. Now you can use an with an also. With an, the wow is omitted. So just now I said wow should be there, but we can use it with an also. An, not a direct verb, with an and mudare. For example, iyyaka wa nawma fil fasli. Beware of sleeping in a class. So you can say iyyaka an tanama fil fasli. And the context will obviously tell. I mean, there's no verb like sleep, you, or you cannot translate. Beware of sleeping in the class. The meaning is the same. Antanama fil fasli, that you sleep in the class. We won't say wa antanamu. So this is the only twist here, which he brought this point. Like iyyakum wa zina, beware of illegal sex. So iyyakum antaznu, beware of adultery. Antaznu. Iyyakunna wal hasada, beware of jealousy. Iyyakunna an tahsudna. Tahsudna. Yeah, so how do you know we have to use which form? You have to look at this kunna and all that. We had an exercise also, yeah, accordingly. You have to change. Iyaki wa nisyan. Beware of forgetting. So iyaki. Now you're speaking to a girl. Iyaki. So you have to go to the conjugation. Nasya yansa. Yansa anti is what? Anti. Yansa tansaina. So we'll say anti. An came, so you'll drop the noon. So anti an tansai, right? So it's tansai. You have to know the conjugation for this. Nasiya Yansa is the most difficult one which we learned, right? Out of the 4 forms in Naqis. One was Da'yadu, Mashayamshi, Nahayanha, and the 4th was Nasiya Yansa. Because you'll give a fatha, so leave the fatha. Nasiya is Yansa, so don't touch the fatha. So when you say Anti, so Anti Tansaina, because generally you'll say Anti Tansina, because everything else Anti Tad'ina and all that, right? We'll say ina for anti, but here we leave the fatha, tansaina. Don't touch the fathas. That's the basic rule for the weak verbs. Inshallah. The masculine is tansa. Then next point is a'raju. A'raju, lame. Lame. Lame means someone who has one hand or something. So arja'u, feminine is arja'u, and the plural of both masculine and feminine is urjun. One leg. Oh, okay. Lame is one leg. Yeah. That's a lame joke. That means one leg joke. Okay. Lame. Yeah. One leg. Arja'u. And the plural of both masculine and feminine is urjun. So how do you know how do you guess the plural? Well, this is on the pattern of af'alu. And the feminine should be on the pattern of, he gave it the pointer. Af'alu, anything on the pattern of afalu, and only for defects in colors, by the way. Defects in colors like ahmar. And the feminine should be on the pattern of hamra. It should not be something else. And the plural will be, both of them will be humrun. The pattern of fu'lun pattern. For example, al-hunudul humr, red Indians. It's just giving a trick to identify the plural. Like abyadu, oh, I don't know the plural. So no need to worry. Is the feminine baydaw? Yes. So what will be? It should be actually fu'lun, right? So buyudun. Buyudun. But they didn't like buyudun because before that dhamma. They don't like that. So they change it to bid. Like ayyamul bid. White days. Buyudun is not nice. Before that dhamma. Enemies. Don't uy, bui. They don't like all that. So they change it to kasra. Bidun. Bid. Okay. Next point, the verbs with waw as the first radical have 2 masdars. This should have been in book 2, but he didn't want to burden us that time. The misal wabi will have 2 masdars, mostly. Like wa'ada, one will be with a waw, wa'adun, one with a waw and one without the waw. Wa'adun. Misal, misal means what? How do you give dhamma? I forgot. Wa'adun. And another is drop the waw. Idatun. So you have to give a ta because it has to be 3 letters, right? Arabs don't like generally two letter nouns or verbs because huruf are generally 2 letters. Min, fi, the particles, not nouns. So it should be 3 letters. So 1, 2, 3. So idatun is masdar. Now you might be like, what's the root letters for this? Well, root letters is a waw. If you don't know this rule, you'll think, oh, it's ain, dal, and ta marbuta. No. Ta marbuta is never a root letter, by the way. It's never a root letter. Ta marbuta. No, never. So if you're searching in the dictionary, you won't search ta marbuta ever. Or you'll never search alif also. Alif and ta marbuta are never root letters. This alif is either a waw or a ya, and ta marbuta is deleted anyways. Okay. So idatun. So if you want to search in dictionary, you might search for ain and dal. No, it's wow. Because this rule. Wasafa, for example. Wasafa. Wasfun is the masdar with a waw. So you'll search in the dictionaries for waw, sad, and fa. But if you drop the waw, it becomes sifa. Right? Sifa is used. So sifatun is from which verb? Which masdar of which verb? It's sifatun. And then wa'adha is to admonish someone, give lecture or something. Wa'adhun, wa'adh is the masdar, and idhatun. Wathiqa is to trust, confidence, wathiq. So wathqun or wuthuqun. Oh, they've used wuthuq, confidence, trust. Wuthuq, mithaq, kind of mithaq. and thiqatun, thiqa. Okay. Next point, hujratun. The second letter has sukun. Hujratun, huj. But when you make it plural, you'll get a dhamma. Hujurat. So any plural on the pattern of fu'latun, fu'la, you give a dhamma just for reading purpose or whatever. They give you a dhamma. Like ghurfatun. Ghurfat. So you want to make it plural on the pattern of Jamu Muannath Salim. So ghurufat. By the way, ghuraf is used in the Quran. I don't know if it's ghurufat is used. Rooms. Khutwatun. Step. Step which you take towards something. Step. Not that stairs step. A step towards 1 foot step. So khutwat. That step is also used. Stair step. I don't know. Ghurufat is used in the Quran. Fi ghurufat in yawma idin aminin or something like that. Yeah, ghurufat is used. Yeah. Ghurufat, yes. Let me just check if that is the word. I just got it. Fi ghurufat in yawma idin aminin or something. How do you search for that word? Let's go to corpus and search for the root letters ghain. Let's go to Quran dictionary. Let's go to ghain. I want ghain ra fa. Ikhtarafa is to take. I want a noun. Ghurfat, yeah. Wahum fil ghurfati aminun. Yes, only once in the Quran. Yes. Please show the screen. 1 second. I need to shift it here. And share screen. Yeah. Here. Yeah, so what I did, I went to Quran dictionary, went to ghain, and then ghain rafa, because I know the root letters. Ghain ra. There's no ta'amud buta ghurfa. The root letters ghain rafa. So we don't want a verb. Ikhtarafa is to take something. Ikhtarafa is to take whatever. We don't want this format. Right? We don't want this format. We want the noun masdar from there. So ghurafat. Wahum fil ghurafati aminun. Only once it has been used. But ghuraf has been used more than so many times. Ghuraf 3 times. Ghuraf. Ghurfa. They'll have rooms, chambers, dwellings, mansions. They translate as mansions. Min fawqiya ghurafum mabniyatun tajri min tahti al-anhar. Inshallah. So like that you can search. But by the way, you can go to word by word Quran also, and you can see this Arab also, easy Arab. Like this is third person from masculine singular, and this is fail madi. Fail madi. So where is the file? Yeah, the file is hidden. I think the file is hidden. Yeah. So you can see the simple Arab here, fail madi, jar majur, and this that. Or you can go to, for detailed analysis, you can go to Quran dictionary and morphological, not in morphological search, somewhere here. What is syntactic tree bank? And you can see the chart also he prepares. Like Bismillah Rahman Rahim, this is Majur, Bismillah, and this is Mudaf Mudaf ilayhi. So you can go back to this. And this is Sifa for the whole of this Majur. And so where's the muta'alliq for Bismillah? Like in the name of Allah, the most merciful. What does it mean in the name of Allah? He gives a star. That means I begin or something. You can understand, right? I begin in the name of Allah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So you can see this chart. If you want to see it in Arabic, you can go to click Arab here. Arab here, you can select the surah. For example, Surah An-Nisa, verse 1. Right? Ya ayyuhan nasu. So you say Alladhi ismu mawsul. Ya nasu taqu rabbakum alladhi khalaqakum. He'll give Arabic Arab also. But he's not giving for the whole thing. Okay, he's just giving a few words here and there. Okay. Al-jar ila amwalikum muta'alliq. He's giving difficult ones, I guess. Okay. You can go to dependency graph. Wattaqu ayatul yatama amwalahum. Where wattaqu file is here, the wow file and all that. This is very interesting if you want to go. Okay. Anyways. Next, preposition preceding a masdar movable may be omitted. So any an plus fi'l mudari, if you want to use a preposition, you can remove it. A'udhu billahi min al-kadhib. I seek refuge from Allah from telling lies. You can use kadhib, and this is masdar, right? You can use an and fi'l mudari. Delete this and use a'udhu billahi an akdhiba. So an akdhiba, we can delete the min also. A'udhu billahi min an akdhiba. Because anytime you say a'udhu, a min should come, right? Because you seek refuge from something. But when you're using with an and fail mudari, you can delete it because it's understood. Yeah. Amaran Allahu bis salah. Allah commanded us salah. So amaran Allahu an nusalli or amaran Allahu bi an nusalli, because amara comes with bi many times. So you have to use with bi, or you can delete the bi also if you're using fail mudari. Okay. We have learned the badal. Badal. Oh, badal again. Aina akhuka Hashimun. Yeah, badal lesson. This is no four types of badal. Where's your badal Hashim? One is total badal. Badal is called badal kul min al kul. Like this one also is total, yeah, complete. 100% badal, yeah. Like a twin brother. This is 100% badal. It's called kul min al kul. Like you can replace either word. You can delete this, just delete this, fine. Because 100%. Like najaha akhuka, your brother passed. The meaning is complete, but you might have 10 brothers or whatever. So Muhammadun. Here Muhammadun is same as akhuka, but partial badal. The next type is badalul ba'di min al kul. Here it's not 100%, it's less than 100%. Right? How do you say less than? Less than is like this, no? Less than, oh, sorry. I think like this, yeah. Which one is eating? Yeah, this one. Less than 100%. Right? Badalul ba'di min al kul. Correct? So this is like a fraction. Partial, yeah. So akaltu dajaja. I ate the chicken, but not full of it. Nisfaha. Half of it. Nisfaha. So here nisf is the badal juz'iyya, that is partial. Ba'd min al kul. Ba'd min al kul. Then we have badalul ishtimal. What is the third type? Badalul ishtimal. What is ishtimal? Ishtimal is to include something. Here it is neither full, neither half. It's not a part of it. It is something feature about it. Right? Feature about it, quality about it. Something is include. Ishtimal is to include. Ishtimal. Right? Something like that. So comprehensive badal they called it. But inclusive something. Like Ajamani hadal kitabu. This book pleased me. Or I like this book. But what do you like? Its cover, its writing, or what? I mean, its feature. Uslubuhu. Uslub means its way of writing, its style. Right? Ajabani hadal kitabu uslubuhu. Its way of writing. Uslubuhu is way of writing. So this is neither portion of it. It's not full. I mean, it's not something, a part of it, like physical part of it. It's like a quality of it. And then we have badalul ghalat or mubayan, they call it mubayan. Like another example for this thing. Natasa'alu anil imtihan. We are asking about the exam. About what about the exam? Kayfa yakunu. We are asking about its feature, like how will it be? So it's called badalul. This kayfa yakunu. What's the place of this sentence? This is like the badal. This whole sentence. Kayfa yakunu. How is it? Will it be? This is called badalul istimal. Istimal, quality about it. And this dissimilar badal mubayin or badalul ghalat. Right? Ghalat is easier to remember. Ghalat means you made a mistake. Atinil kitab, give me the book. But I made a mistake. I mean the daftar, ad-daftara. So atinil kitab ad-daftara. So you might see this sentence, you might be like, what does he mean? Actually, he meant daftar, but this is ghalat. This is a mistake. Badal mubayin, clarity. It gives clarity. And the noun for which the badal is a substitute is called mubdal minhu. So you see mubdal minhu. What is mubdal minhu? The previous word, like this word. This is mubdal minhu. This is badal. Mubdal minhu, like mausuf sifa. Similarly, ma'atuf alayh. Oh, sorry, ma'atuf alayhi ma'atuf. Like when you use wow, Hamid wa Khalid. So Hamid is called ma'atuf alayhi and this is called ma'atuf. Similarly, this is mubdal minhu. The first word is called mubdal minhu and this is called badal. Like mausuf sifa or manut nat. So badal will be Muhammad, nisfaha, yes, uslub, and kaifa yakun, yes. Not nisfaha literally, only nisfa. Wa huwa mudaf, and then because mudaf ilayhi will not be included actually, technically speaking. Yes, yes. Okay. Like for example, Aina Bunuka Bilalun, where's your son? Now you might have 10 sons. You don't know which you're talking about. So Bilalun. So this Ibnuka, Ibnu is the Mubdal Minu and Bilal is ka Badal. But literally you can say Ibnuka is also Mubdal Minhu. Why does it matter? Because when you identify these pairs of words, it's easier for you to translate. Like Mausuf Sifa, Manut Nat or Mubdal Minhu Badal, and what else? Ma'atuf alayhi Ma'atuf. Inna, Ismu Inna, Khabar Inna. I know 2 languages. He gives Badal need not agree in Mubdal Minu in being definite or indefinite, because it's not like a strict adjective. Badal is not an adjective, by the way. Yeah? In adjective, you're describing something about it, right? Like tall boy. I saw a tall boy. Ra'aytu waladan tawilan. I saw a tall boy. You're describing. It's not like a fraction of it, part of it, correct? Or something about it, because that's like a sifa of him. He's always tall. He's always tall. But it's the rules are very strict, that if it is marifa, use marifa, mausuf, sifa, manut. If it's alif lam, tanween, masculine. But badal is fine because it can be understood. So it can be, if it's definite, you can use indefinite also. Like for example, arifu lughataini al-firansiyata wal-isbaniya. You use al because it's understood, right? So you can use definite, indefinite, it's fine with mubdal minhu. So which is the mubdal minhu here? This one, and this is the badal. Both are badal. Actually, this is the badal. This is ma'atuf and this is atf, technically speaking, but you can say both are badal, whatever. Or badal and mubdal minhu maybe both be nouns. You can use any word. You can use verbs also now. Mausuf sifa you cannot use, right? Manut nat you cannot use verbs, generally speaking, like both verbs. But you can use a nakira noun and a word, then they can be sifa. Right? He didn't teach us that in this book. Drink some water. Right? In nakira, it can be used. Now, this is one second. So here it can be anything. Both can be nouns. Yas'alunaka anish shahril haram. They are asking about the month, haram, of the sacred month. But what about it? I mean, how many days it has? How many nights it has? No. Qitalin fihi. Regarding warfare, fighting in it. So shahr, mubdal minhu, and qitalin is badal. Right? Qitalin is badal. So noun. Or both be verbs. Waman yaf'al dhalika. And verbs are easier to identify because you'll use verb after that. Like waman yaf'al dhalika yalqa athama. Whoever does that shall receive athama, punishment. Yalqa, laqiya yalqa is to meet or receive. He'll receive a punishment. Yudha'af lahu al-'adhab. The torment will be double for him. He'll receive punishment. So what kind of punishment? Like, what about it? So he'll receive double punishment. Yudha'af lahu al-'adhab. Or both be sentences. You can use one sentence as mubdal minhu, the other as badal. This is easier to identify because the same sentence will repeat like amaddakum. وَاتَّقُوا الَّذِي أَمَدَّكُمْ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ أَمَدَّكُمْ بِأَنْعَامٍ وَبَنِينَ. And fear him. Amadda is to extend, literally. So he extended you, or he who has provided you bima ta'malun, of what you know. So what do we know about it? Like for example, amaddakum bi an'am, he provided you with cattle and sons. Wa banin. Be different the first and the second and noun, right? So it could be a verb and a noun. Afala yanzuruna ila al-ibil. Did you see the camel? Like, what about the camel? Kayfa khuliqat. Now here, this mubdal minhu and this whole sentence is the badal. Kayfa khuliqat. Like, what about it? How it was created? Right? How it was created. Look at it. Okay, that was all about badal. 10th. He's explaining bada yabdu, it appears like yabdu annahu munawwimun. It seems to be appears. Bada yabdu is to appear. In this masdar muawwal annahu munawwimun is the file. This whole thing. Anna and ismu anna and khabar anna, this whole thing is the file. Because masdar muawwal can also be anna and is ism and khabar. So we learned only one masdar muawwal, an plus fail mudare. But anna can also be used with its ism and its khabar as file or masdar muawwal. So that's what he's teaching in this lesson. You've already learned one type of masdar muawwal, which is made up of an plus mudare, right? An and mudare if it comes. Example, uridu an akhruja, I want to go. But there's another type of masdar muawwal, which is anna. Anna, like balagani annahu mata. So it reached me annahu mata, right? That he died. So you might say balaga. Okay, balaga is verb. Ni, this is known wiqaya anyways. Ya is mafulun bihi. But where is the file? What reached me? This whole thing is the file. And then you divide this. This is anna. This is ismu anna. And this is khabar anna. Because the whole sentence can also be a file, by the way. Huh? Annahu mata. Like an plus fa'il mudare can be a file or mubtada. Like we learned antasumu khairul lakum somewhere. It can be mubtada. Similarly, this can also be a file. Why? Because it's masdar muawwal. What is masdar muawwal? Interpreted masdar. That means it's assume that balagani mautuka or mautuhu. The word maut is replaced by an yamuta. We can use an or annahu yamuta with anna. Okay. It's just little point we noted that anna plus ismu, and that can also be the file or whatever, because it's in the place of a noun. Because literally we can translate it balagani mautuhu, his death reached me, news of it. Like yasurruni annaka tilmidi, it pleases me that you are my student. So yasurru is the file, sarra yasurru, and this is mafulun bi. Fine, where's the file? This whole thing is the file. Right? This is just extra Arab, right? Where to identify file and all, very difficult kind of if you don't know this rule. Like yabdu annaka mustajilun, it appears that you are in a hurry. Okay, and then he summarizes particles inna, anna, kanna, and we read this anna and inna. I emphasize inna. Kanna means I like, I liken. That is, it looks like kanna ka akhi, you are like my brother. Lakinna is but, I correct. Laita, I wish. La'alla, I hope or fear. Meaning, inna, anna, they signify emphasis. Inna, like inna allaha shadidul iqab. Ismu inna mansub. Anna allaha shadidul iqab. Anna wa'alamu anna allaha. Know that, we can translate as that. And kanna is tashbih. Tashbih means something which is similar. Kanna li'ilma nurun. So when you see kanna means it looks like, it is as if knowledge is light. Kannani arifuka. It could be dhan also, it could be a doubt. Or istidrak. Lakinna means istidrak. Like Hamidun Dhakiyun walakinnahu kaslanu. Hamid is intelligent, but he's lazy. But lakin, laita. And we learn lakin also, no, in one of the classes. The lighter form of lakinna is lakin. Laita is used for tamanni. Wishing. Tamanni means wishing. And we learned about laitani, ya laitani kuntu turaba. La'alla is hope or fear. In book 2 also he brought this. At-taraji wal ishfaq. Okay. And then we can, he's teaching all this muinna and all that. And you can use the khabar, could be a sentence also. Inna Allah sari'ul hisab. Surely Allah is swift. So where's the khabar here? Sari'u. And inna Allah yaghfir dhunaba. Where's the khabar here? It could be a verbal sentence. Yaghfiru is the khabar. And then it could be a nominal sentence. Inna Allah indahu ilmus sa'a. So where's the khabar of inna? This whole sentence, jumla ismiya. It could come as khabar. And shibu jumla also, jar majrur can also be. Kannaka minas seen. So minas seen is the khabar of kanna. We did this when we were doing the lesson. All this is la'alla al-mudira indal mudiri. This thing is the khabar of la'alla. And it can come before also. Inna ilayna yabahum. So you might be like, okay, inna is there. Where's the ism of it? It is not this, because jal majrur cannot be its ism. Like it cannot be mubtada. Similarly, ism also it cannot be. So iyaba is Ismu inna, ismu. And khabar is this guy, right? Because it can precede it. Because Shibu Jumla, you can, Shibu Jumla, what is Shibu Jumla? Shibu Jumla is Jar Majur, and that is, and Zarf, and Zarf, right? And they are like neighbors, not neighbors, sorry. They're like family members. They can go anywhere in the sentence, right? Fi, ila, min, all those bata, kaf, lam, all those can go anywhere. And inda, ilaina, you can bring them first to show the meaning, to show the meaning. Inna ilaina yabahum. Thumma inna alayna hisabahum. Yes. It creates a power and emphasis. And their yab means return. Their rujur. They are never mubtada. No, never. Never mubtada. Shibu Jumla never mubtada, nor ismu inna, lakinna, and all that. Because ismu inna is nothing but mubtada, no? It's just the name change. They're never mubtada. How can Jar Majrur feel baiti? Because mubtada should be a hero of the sentence. So a place, location is never the hero. A person is a hero, as a thing is a hero. Okay. Yabahum, hisabahum, the change of order is optional. But if it is indefinite, it is mandatory. Like mubtada, if it is nakira, you can start a sentence with mubtada which is nakira. You have to bring it late. Similarly here, ismu inna, you have to bring it late. Like inna ladena ankalan, we have fetters, chains, or whatever. Wa jahima, and fire, raging fire. So why ankalan came late? Because this is nakira. You cannot start inna ankalan ladena. No. Here it was optional because this is yabahum is ma'rifa, because it's mudaf nafle. But here ankalan is nakira. Here it is mandatory. You have to bring it compulsory late. Inna ma'al usri yusra. Even here, inna, where's the ismu inna? Here, late. Why late? Because this is nakira, tanween. And ma'al usri is zarf. Zarf khabar, not khabar. Yeah, khabar of inna. Here it is incorrect to say inna yusran ma'al usri. This is incorrect. You cannot start with nakira, no? Very bad. Inna ankalan ladena. This is also incorrect. Then laita is also. You can use laita nitiflun. You can use noon of with it. But lakinna, kanna, anna, inna, it is optional. When do you use noon and when you don't use noon? Right? It is optional to use noon. Like, because why? Because laita, it has a ta. So laiti is bad, no? Laiti, tiflun. So they used a noon of protection. Laitani. But here, lakinnani you can say, or inni, kannani, because they already have a noon here. So you can add or you can don't add. Inni, inna. But with la, lam and noon have the same makhraj. La, noon, similar makhraj, right? So la'allani, so that's difficult. So they never add a noon with la'alla. So you'll always say la'alli, la'alli. It's just the way Arabs used it, right? Because people always go to the easier way. So when to use noon with laita, you should use laita because there's no noon already. But people with this lakinna, kanna, inna, they already have a noon. You can add, you can delete, your choice. But with la'alla, don't add because it's so difficult. La'allani, right? People didn't like, they left it. La'alli la araka muddatan tawilan. I'm afraid I will not see you for a long time. And this is the vocab. We have one more lesson to read. This was all about lesson 21. Inshallah. Lesson 22. This is a short lesson, inshallah. One lesson long, one lesson short. We learn from 7 here. Let's finish this. Saqat al finjadu wan kasara. In kasara. 7 is in fa'ala with a in. Mudare in kasara yan kasiru. In shaqqa yan shaqqu. All the same, right? Amr also you can chop. Tansarifu, insarif. You have to bring the hamza back because you cannot pronounce it. There it was, ta was in the beginning. In the starting it was a ta. But here there's no ta. Right? There's no ta. The masdar is on the pattern in fi'al. Right? This is all this thing. Naqis, the ya it changes to hamza. Injala, injila'un. And so on. Ismul fa'il also same. Change the ya to a munkasir. Yanshaqu, munshaqiq, munshaqqun. Ismul maful is also same. Yanatif. Oh, Ismul maful is not formed. Ismul maful is not formed. because form 7, remember, form 7 is always transitive. Form 7 is always transitive. So there's no concept of ismul maf'ul. But ismul zaman and makan is same. Yanatifu bends, bunataf, place of bending. Form 7 always remember transitive. No maf'ulun bi for form 7. So it's easier in that way. Because why? Because the action is itself ascribed to the object, like the glass broke, the cup broke. So no need to add object to it. Form 7 is always lazim, not mutadi. Like kasartul kuba, I broke the tumbler. So you can use passive also. The tumbler was broken, but I just want to say the cup broke. So I'd use inkasaral kubu. So this is the file, you see, the tumbler broke. So remember, no mafulun bihi is in form 7. Fatahtul baba, this is called mutaba, by the way, right? We talked about it. In fatahal babu, hazam al muslimun al kufara. So I don't want to use passive. Right? They were defeated. I want to say God defeated, yeah. So in hazam al kufaru. And we learned while doing the lesson, form 1 will transfer to form 7. So form 1 and form 7 are brothers. Form 1 and 7. Like Fa'ala, mutawa is in Fa'ala. Like Kasara is form 1, right? Kasartu zujaja. Now I want to say the glass broke on its own without using passive. So I'll go to form 7. Form 7. In kasara zujaju. In kasara zujaju. So form 1 will go to form 7 when you want to do mutawa. What is mutawa? Again, object. Yeah, you want to say the glass broke. Ascribe the action to the door itself. The door opened. The wind blew. Wind will blow anyways. But Allah blew the wind. Instead of that, you're saying wind blew or whatever. But form 2 will go to form 5. Because obviously, kassartu zujaja, I smashed the glass. I want to say the glass broke into pieces. Takassara zujaju. So form 1 you'll go to 7, form 2 you'll go to 5. Just some point here. And this, if form 7 you want to use a question, so there'll be 2 hamzas, right? A-I. So A-I, so you'll drop the hamzatul wasl. Ankasara. Ankasara. Again, you might not be able to identify that this is form 7. So this is ankasara. Anfatahal babu. So literally it was in fatahal babu, but because this was hamzatul wasl, you dropped it. An fatahal babu, like that. Anqalab. Then in what is this? Yawma mata Ibrahim, saying Yawma is mudaf, and this mata Ibrahim. So this whole sentence can be a mudaf ilayhi, he says, right? Yawma, because the dharf, right? So where's the mudaf ilayhi for dharf? This is what fi'liya can also, jumla fi'liya can also come as mudaf ilayhi for this, right? We can read this. Lawla is but for. We learned law in previous lesson. Law means if. Lawla means had it not been, but for. And anytime law or lawla comes, the rule is same. Positive, the jawab is positive. Positive means no negative thing. You have to use a lam. This is important. Lam. Lawla shamsu la halakatil ardu. But not for the sun, the earth would have destroyed. I mean, because this is called halfun tina lil wujud. Because this is present, this did not happen. Love was, both did not happen. That is why it's called halfun tina lim tina. This is called halfun tina. This is not possible because li wujud, because it's possible. And we talked about it in the lesson also. This is called halfun tina in li wujud, lawla. And you can, even if you don't understand this, you can translate, with the context, lawla. By the way, one more lawla is used. Why did you not? Why not? Why not? That is different from this thing. And that is very common in the Quran. Lawla sami'tumuhu. Why did you not when you heard this? And that is different from this lawla. This lawla means something is there. Because of that something else did not happen. Huh? And he gave examples for that. I'm not reading this because we are out of time. Man Ibrahimu hada. You can use a naat also. Hada is this thing. So after Marifa, if you use hada, zalika and all that, they are naat. And he gives examples for that. And taghlib. Taghlib means there are 2 things. Like Hamid came, I used ja'a Hamid. Fatima came, I use Ja'at Fatima. But both of them came, Hamid and Fatima. So should I use masculine or should I use feminine? Because which verb should I use, Ja'a or Ja'at? So that time use masculine. So group containing both male and females. So you'll use masculine, obviously. Obviously, and it gives examples for that. Okay. Like al-masjidu wal-madrasatu qaribani. Now this is masculine. Correct? This is masculine and this is feminine. This is feminine. Now which qaribani or qaribatani? Which should be? You'll use masculine. You'll use masculine. Going back to this. Because that's what taghlib is. Taghlib means something is overpowering something. So masculine is overpowering feminine. And we are done. Alhamdulillah. Inshallah, next class we'll start with lesson number 23, form 8. So 23, 24, 25, 26. We learn form 8, form 9, form 10. Correct? Form 8, form 9, and form 10. By the way, form 9 also has another form in it, which is very rare. Form 9 is very rare anyways. Right? Form 8 is very important, very common form 8, and very important, very difficult, the most difficult, I believe, because so many changes around, but it's not that difficult. Once you identify the changes, it's easy. The 3 changes which you talked about today. That's why I gave you the 3 changes. Like ta, heavy letters, ta, wa, sa, dad, you change into a ta. Right? And then same pronunciation letters, dal, dal, za, 3 letters only. You change into a, you can change whatever. You can change into a dal, you can change into a dal, right? Or you can leave both of them, dal and dal. And the last is the weak letter, wow. Wow, drop the wow and change that wow into ta. And these 3 changes are important. And one more thing is important in this, not confusing form 8 and form 7. And we talked about that. Like anytime in takala, anytime after that in, you might think, oh, in form 7. No. Look at if it's a ta after that, 90% of the time it's form 8. Right? Inshallah, we'll see all that in the next class. Form 8 and then form 9, it has 2 forms in it because it's form 11. Some people call it if Allah and if Allah, very rare. Colors and defects, right? Colors and defects, very rare, and few words only. Form 9. Form 10, very common, the most easiest in my view. Right? Inshallah, form 10 is taf'ala. Right? Identifying form 10 is easiest. Inshallah ta'ala, that is form 10. And then we have 4-letter verbs. Right? 4-letter verbs, what, not extra letters, 4 root letter verbs. There's nothing extra in it, like tarjama. And there's nothing extra in it to learn because we'll give a dhamma because it's 4 letters, you tarjimu. Khalas. Right? So this is also rare again now. So we've learned 3 letters form 1, it's 10 forms. 3 letters, 10 forms. In the next 3 letters, we'll finish 8, 9, 10. Done. We are done with 10 forms. Khalas, 3 letters is over. Then we have 4-letter ones. 4 letters. That'll be 23, 24, 25, 26. Right? After that, we'll stop again. Come back and read this key. Inshallah ta'ala. With that, all the morphology will be done. Alhamdulillah. After that, there'll be miscellaneous from lesson 27 onwards. 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. 8 lessons we'll learn extra stuff like istithna, right? One lesson for pronouns. Again, he'll bring pronouns. Conclusion for pronouns. He'll bring 1 lesson for pronouns. Right? 1 lesson for all our mafulun bihi which are left. Like mafulun mutlaq, 1 lesson. Mafulun lahu, 1 lesson. Mafulun ma'ahu, 1 lesson. He didn't teach that till now. Mafulun mutlaq and all those. These maful. Because there are 5 mafail, if you remember. Mafulun bihi we've done. Mafulun mutlaq we didn't do. Mafulun lahu we didn't do. Mafulun ma'ahu we didn't do. And there's 1 more maful. Right? I don't know what I forgot. There are 5 mafail. Objects. Mafulun bihi, mafulun lahu, mafulun ma'ahu, mafulun mutlaq. There's 1 more, I guess, which is rare. I don't know. And what else we'll learn? Inshallah, istithna and all that. Extra, yeah. And there are some things which I'm forgetting. So there are 3 more topics which we have to cover. That is the ending. After lesson 26, it's all wrapping up. One lesson for each topics. Right? Inshallah ta'ala. 1 is noon thaqila, noon khafifa. Last lesson is that. Inshallah. The heavy duty noons, very common in the Quran. And like layadhabanna. What is this? Layadhabanna. Layansurunna Allahu. So you see, yansuru is to help. Now you don't want to use inna because this is a verb. Yansurullahu. Allah will help. Right? Allah will help. You cannot use inna. You can use qad maybe. Qad, but qad with mudara is not fine, yeah? Because qad with mudara, it means sometimes. So what we use lam, right? Lam. Now, la yansurullah, okay. Allah, this is called lam of ibtida. No? Like, we can start with a lam. That's fine. But you want to change the verb itself to show power. La yansurunallah. We'll add this noon. And there's one noon which is double noon. This is called thaqila, heavy duty noon. Heavy. La yansurunallah. Allah will surely help him. Help them. La yansurunnahum. Something like that. And then this also has its own conjugation here. Yansurunna, yansurunnani, yansurunna, tansurunnani, and all that. Nani also for duals. Tansurununna. He doesn't go into the conjugation because it's rare, not rare that much, but very common. But nani, nunni, and all that, it comes. Unna, you drop one noon and all that, we'll see. And there are some places we have to use, like you're saying qasam, wallahi, la'ansuranna, I will surely help. La'ansuranna. Why? Because wallahi came, it is mandatory, you have to use strong words after that. Like wallahi, if you're using madi, we learned a rule, you have to use laqad. Wallahi laqad dhahaba hamidun ila suq. You have to use laqad because Allah's name you're taking, you have to bring something matching. Inshallah. This is the last lesson, by the way. This is called noon thaqila, heavy duty noon, and light noon. You can use layan suran Allahu. You can use just one noon also. He'll teach all that in the last lesson. And then istithna also one lesson. Istithna, exceptions, mufarrag, mutafarrig, and all that. Munqati, istithna, one lesson. So after lesson 26, but before that we have these forms again. Yeah, inshallah. Form 8, 9, 10. And mujarrad, rubai mujarrad, inshallah ta'ala. Jazakallahu khairan, inshallah. We hope to finish, inshallah, before this year, inshallah, before December, hopefully, inshallah, to finish this book. And with that, we'll be done with our Madina books, inshallah ta'ala. We have 12 more lessons, inshallah, to finish. May Allah accept it and keep us alive to finish it, inshallah. We've been doing since 2 years almost, this book. Inshallah. Madina book 3. Barakallahu feekum, jazakallahu khairan, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. We are trying to go as slow as possible, inshallah. Because last lesson, many people, they try to rush. I don't want to rush, inshallah. Now, we'll try to go as slow as possible so that we understand every rule, either it be advanced or not, inshallah. Okay, jazakallahu khairan.